Hey, what's up, you guys? So it is Comic Con Africa weekend, and we are having a rollicking time. I have got to tell you that this has been an emotional roller coaster for me because, in as much as I miss each and every one of you physically, I feel like you're all here with us right now. And as we are taking this journey together, this is another pit stop on our Project Springbok journey. Yes, as you know, our friends from Project Springbok have this amazing initiative where they are attempting to uplift, empower, and otherwise give a platform to aspiring developers here on the African continent, such as my next guest, D-Man. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you for making the time. Thank you for making the time. Now, I know that you are under you are under a lot of pressure right now because your project, you were saying to us that you've put in some upgrades and some tweaks over there as well. So just to help the guys on the outside over there real quick, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, the project that you are working on, just so we can give them some context real quick.
Right, great. So I am David Abraham. I'm from Ethiopia. I'm a software engineer. I'm a game developer. I'm also the founder and CEO of Connect Games, which is a gaming studio based in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. We have been working on games for the past 3-4 years. We launched a game called Kukulu in 2018. That was our first product, and we've been growing since. My partner Samuel Sisai and I have been doing this for some time now. I guess my background would be that I really loved games growing up in Ethiopia. I was born and raised there, and as a game, I wouldn't say as a game addict, but as someone who really loved games, I kind of noticed that all my favorite superheroes were all they had nothing to do with me. Black Panther was literally the first superhero I ever related to, and that kind of pushed us in the direction that we are now. We really want to build games that are from Africa, and it doesn't mean that they're super African themed and stuff like that. Whenever we create games, and because we made them, they are African by default. And that's kind of what we've been trying to do so far. This current project that we're working on is Gabeta. Gabeta it's a Mancala board game. Now everyone in Africa knows what Mancala is. Some African countries call it Owari, some countries call it different things, but it's very common. And even outside of Africa, it's probably the most ancient board game in the history of games, right? So what we did is we have our own variation, the Ethiopian variation that is, but we wanted to make a Mancala game which was more for this modern age, for the players that are playing games now. So think a casual puzzle game which actually is based on Mancala. So we kind of had to create a lot of new rules, new mechanics, new reward systems that make it more exciting, make it more competitive. There are power-ups, there are things you can do in the game, and so on and so on. So we wanted to actually make Gabeta or Mancala kind of the next favorite game, board game or puzzle game in the world.
Loving it, loving it, loving it. Now, you know what, right? There was some preview footage that you sent to us, and I think that the best way to break it down for our friends out there is for them to have a look at that exact same footage. So you cool with that? Can we roll that for them right now?
Please do, yeah.
100%. Okay, so let's do the thing. Cue the video. Feeling stressed out because just when I thought, okay, it's going to unlock, it's going to happen for me, the video cut out. And I'm one of those people who has those, you have that issue where you got to sort of you have to complete a thing, you have to do it, and so the game is very, very addictive. We're going to tell you a little bit just now about where you can access it and all of that stuff, but let's just talk about something else real quick. I got to ask, earlier you mentioned to us about how you wanted to create games, gaming experiences that are African by nature and this and that, but now what you've done is you've taken something that pretty much everyone here on this particular continent knows about, like a concept and theme. And you've basically literally and figuratively powered it up. So it fits in with modern sensibilities, So like, how did that thought process happen?
We are game creators, and whatever we create will end up being African. A case in point would be this game. We
Yeah.
were just sitting around, me, a couple of the team, my partner Samuel Sisai, and we were just sitting around and like talking. Okay, what kind of a game should we make next? Maybe we should make something simple, something like not too, something that's not going to make too much time to make. And Samuel was like, oh, why don't we make Gabata? Gabata is like a very, I mean, it's a game that we all grew up playing. It's very common to us. And we weren't trying to find an African game. It was so obvious that Gabata is the one that we wanted to build. And then, of course, we wanted to make it more beautiful. We wanted to make it more amazing. And one of the things that we really like to do is we try to make the best of what it could be. And we are game creators. We've been playing games. We know how games work. We know what's interesting. We know what makes a game more appealing and more, addictive, and so on and so on. So we wanted to actually create that better version of it.
People think about Africa. They think that, a lot of us are still running around with lions and panthers out there, with, like pausing for elephants to cross the road and stuff like that, And, again, I think that with that being said, resources for us across the continent are a challenge, So in terms of your developer journey, your creator journey, as it were, what sort of challenges, do you find that creators such as yourself, face here?
So I would say the first challenge that we faced was the actual talent sourcing, especially in Ethiopia. Like when we began, so 4 years ago, I was working on the game Kukulu alone. And I literally didn't know anyone else who was a game developer. And it was slowly that other people start to actually come in and join us. And that's a big problem because the industry doesn't exist. If the industry doesn't exist, then a lot of individuals who are pursuing a career in that industry won't exist either. The first people who actually came to work with me were hobbyists. When we established Kine Games, it was literally the first gaming company in the country. And we didn't have a lot of other people working in the industry as well. So that was the biggest hurdle. But aside from that, when I come to the point where you mentioned the image we have of African products or African art and stuff like that, the image that you mentioned, the walking with lions and so that's image that exists out there. It doesn't really exist as much in here. When you grow up, you learn that there's so much to be proud of. And that is something that's really helping us, because whenever we launch a game, everyone is really looking forward to actually play it, especially those players in Africa. It's the same thing that you see with Black Panther, right? I mean, there was a huge turnout when that movie came out. That existed because of a lot of people already believing that there was so much greatness in Africa. And now they can actually see it on the screen, right? So that's something that's really helped us so far along. So I would say that once the resources like the game development talent, the actual resources like funding is difficult, not just for, like for every startup in Africa. It's really difficult to go to a country like Europe, Asia, and pitch to investors and tell them that you're going to take the money back to Africa. I've personally had a lot of problem pitching to investors. Like I've even had an investor say to me that when I told them that I was in Ethiopia, they asked if in order to come here, should they take a plane to Kenya and then take a bus from there? That's something that investors actually have a huge, they're not really aware of how Africa is really civilized and really an amazing place to go and work and invest in. So if those resource problems are fixed, then the market is there, the need is there, and even the spending, like the expenditure is actually there. People actually have money to spend in Africa as well. So those, I would say, are the challenges and some of the advantages that we have.
I think things like this Project Springbok initiative, together with the guys from Comic Con Africa, actually creating the platform now where more eyes get shined on this area. I think that there is a decent first, second, and possibly third step on the journey, the long journey ahead, But Yeah, that's but that thing that you said just now, about how people don't understand it, that really hits me hard because I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. But you know what, the future is bright. It's full of promise, and in that future over there, people are going to be looking for you on socials and stuff there. So at this point of year, where do the guys find you? How do they find you? And what can they do to help? In terms of getting the message out there, getting the products out there, bringing the thunder and doing the things. Take us through it.
All right, great. So the first thing I guess I would say is go download our games. The Gabeta is available on Android and iOS, and we're up on Instagram, Twitter, and they can really help us like by spreading the word about our games, about like talking about our games, playing it, giving us feedback, and all of that. That would be the best thing to actually go ahead and do, and we can definitely take it from there.
Well, there you go then. Okay, so guys, there you have it, right? Once again, my brother, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us about that and taking us on your journey. Like I said, this. Even though we are on different sides of the continent, I'm out here in South Africa, you up there in Ethiopia, and just like like there's more that links us in terms of our shared experience versus the stuff that separates us. And games like yours actually talk to that kind of connection as well. And I invite you guys, like you said, go download the thing, do it right after this over here. And once you're done downloading the game and playing the first couple of levels over there, go to the Comic Con Africa app, check out our exhibitors tab, check out our schedule, plan your con. We're here 24th to the 27th, and don't forget our After Dark show as well. Anyway, let us cut it over here. Once again, brother, all the best. Take care of yourself. We'll chat soon. And to all you guys out there, stay safe, stay inside, stay locked onto Comic Con Africa online. Peace. Hey, what's up, you guys? So it is Comic Con Africa weekend, and I'm hoping that you are having a rollicking time there from the comfort of your couch or chair, as is the case with my next guest, my man Jonah. Jonah, how are you doing?
How's it doing, guys? I'm doing pretty well. No complaints on my end. How about you, man?
Okay, so Jonah, you are one of the participants in the Project Springbok challenge, right? So basically, for those of you who don't know, my friends from Project Springbok are looking for developers. They are looking for brain kids out there to create new and exciting content, such as the project you are working through Nexus Blitz. Now, I'm hoping I didn't butcher that because I practiced like 10 times. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I made quite an interesting tongue twister for my name.
Jonah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, cool. So I'm a third-year college student, personally, right now studying at the Open Window Institute. Currently am studying game development and game design, so I work more into the technical side of things rather than the artistic side. So yeah, I'm quite a laid-back, chilled guy. I work a lot during holidays in retail. I do a lot of retail and management. So yeah, I'm quite a busy guy.
My man. Okay, but now you know, John. I gotta get into some of the more, I'm gonna say, tough questions here, right? These are the kind of things that shape destinies, specifically yours, because you're participating in this massive challenge, right? So tell us about your project. You have birthed this brain baby, as it were. I want to know more about it. I want my friends out there to know more about it. Platform's all yours.
All right, cool. So Settler was actually quite an interesting project that I thought about during the December holiday as I was driving around Ivory Park in Tembisa. So I was driving around and I thought, how could I create something that could show what's happening in these areas to people who don't know what's actually going on? So I thought of an idea of Settler, and first it was going to be like a third-person game where you sort of walk around the township area, sort of explore and just create a narrative that sort of speaks about how people sort of live in this environment, how people get by. We're South Africans, we make a plan with anything. So
Damn shit.
Exactly. How does one tell the story of what's happening in the townships? How can I get the whole world to know? So not just from a South African context, but then I also wanted something that as soon as anyone sees a game, immediately that's South African. That's 100% South African. So sort of getting that aesthetic going. But in a way that is sort of fun, entertaining, engaging, and, worthwhile playing. Nobody wants a little boring experience. So throughout the course of the year, my team and three other people, so obviously three other people and myself, my team, we work together on creating this project. And right now we are a really good alpha prototype state where we have the good dialogue system, we have basic missions, and so yeah, we got sort of the bare basic mechanics down, and we just adding a bit of polish to get a really nice alpha release.
So, okay, you know what, guys? I'm going to help you out right now. We have some test footage of the game over here, so you can have a look, and then we're going to pick it up with Jonah in the second half of this. Here we go. And we are back. Okay, so now we have a slightly better understanding of where we're going and what we're doing here. And my man, you know what? I gotta ask you, what shaped you over here? How did you arrive at this particular world view for the world that you are making us view?
So it's quite an actually, that's a quite an interesting question. So but eventually, but sort of stuff, obviously games is a form of escapism and, you know, sort of going out of your world, out of your personal life. Sort of, this game is a lot made for the purpose of, you know, us normal, very privileged people who, you know, don't know what's going on there. So I sort of thought of it in a way that how can I get people to sort of escape their, you know, privileged world and see what's, you know, the other side of the scale that maybe people really don't know about. So I'm trying to do it in sort of a way, I wouldn't say expose the township life in a safer manner, but sort of in a way that people can engage with, you know, a lot more comfortably. You know, townships have quite a negative connotations with this. Something's going to happen to them. So sort of taking people, privileged people, putting them in this context where they can sort of experience, you know, this place and do things that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise in real life.
Of course, you know, I mean, like just, you know, for the benefit of you guys out there, just for us to schedule this particular conversation, you know, we had to bridge the gap between, you know, load shedding and then bridge the gap now between like all the other drama that goes on over here that's uniquely South African. So what I like about it as well is that, you know, it in a way, from again, just from the footage that we've seen so far, what you created is a space where you pay respect to life here in South Africa, but at the same time now, you know, like there's things that are decidedly South African where you in a way are taking the Mickey out of it as well. So that adds to the entertainment value of it over there. So I gotta say, you're a sly guy, my man. You're a sly guy. But I mean, I guess that's the thing with any form of art, because what you're doing is, you know, it's entertainment, but it's also a form of art, because you're basically doing something that would not only entertain, but also evoke a sense of emotion, you know, especially with, you know, the way some of the missions and whatnot are structured. You know, it makes you think that, yeah, okay, so somebody actually somewhere out there right now, there's somebody who is living this reality, which I think is an important thing, you know, like to really consider when you look at it, you know?
Exactly.
No, I love it, man. I love it. But now, you know, stepping away from the project itself and talking more about you now as a developer, as a creator, as an artist, as it were, you know, here in the South African context, you know, we don't really think of, like, I mean, again, maybe it's a generational thing, but when I think back to the glory days of when I was choosing subjects of what I'm going to do when I grow up and all of that stuff over there, you know, game developer, game designer wasn't something that you do. You'd become a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or something like that. It was very much geared into, you know, you need to get out of here and get a job. But whereas over here, you like, you know what, I'm going to actually create my own wealth by creating worlds, you know, and that's part of what the whole Project Springbok initiative is, to find young creators, you know, and give them that platform. But development as a whole, what sort of challenges, you know, do you as a creator experience?
You know, we obviously in game development in South Africa, it's still an incredibly new topic. So, you know, when it comes to that, you know, the circle is very small. So, you know, you have your, you know, you're a lot more personal with the people around you. You know, in terms of South Africa, we have a group called SA Game Jams where, you know, pretty much most of the developers in South Africa sit on that thing, and then, you know, we sort of chat and share resources, share, you know, opportunities. If someone's working on a project, you can just drop it there, someone's going to grab onto it. So yeah, it's not this sort of open thing like as you explained with lawyers and accountants, which is sort of, you know, people like, okay, I just need to make money, I want to get a job. But having this new sort of thing that we're working with, no, once again, lawyers, accountants, they've been around forever, but, you know, now game development is such a new art. You know, there's very little theory about it. There's very little information sort of about it. Everyone's still sort of figuring out what's going on. So yeah, I would say the challenge is sort of just figuring out, you know, it's more so experimenting. I would say the challenge, you know, just finding out what works, you know, how, especially in South Africa, there's not a lot of games that people can say, it's a South African game or something like that. So in terms of this country, yeah, very small community. You almost know everyone. Everyone knows you. Sort of one of those things. So it almost works on a word to mouth basis on the person when you are doing something. So yeah, that's pretty much how the game community is in South Africa.
Mental process of doing it. I mean, when it comes to just things that we have, challenges that we have over here, we have infrastructure limitations, we have resource limitations, we have, just access restrictions. Because I mean, when I think about the price of, I'm into collecting, and when I think about how restrictive our currency is, in terms of accessing my things, I can't imagine what it's like to, actually bypass some of the hurdles that come with accessing the equipment and stuff that you might need, to actually do what you do. Is that a real challenge, or am I just being paranoid?
I mean, in terms of, like you just mentioned, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Currency. I mean, our currency is quite weak. I mean, right now I looked at the other day on the dollar to the RTX 30 series card, and then I just saw the prices on the website now, and I was like, the jump is insane. So things are quite expensive, in terms of actually equipment buy. So you really gotta sort of, once you find something, build big so that it can last you a while. So yeah, I think in terms of accessing on the actual technologies itself, like it's not too limiting if you actually, sort of import it yourself, but it does cost quite a bit. So I think in terms of cost, it's a lot more higher. Look, I could just not be looking in the right perspective, but I think in terms of cost, it's a lot more higher in this country than it would be in many other places, like especially the States.
Again, looking at your project and looking at, I'm always about entertainment needs to have two elements to it. It needs to obviously create that escapism for you, but at the same time, if you can learn about something, while you're at it, that's wonderful. Your project does exactly that. It's
exactly that.
Entertaining, it's entertaining, it's immersive, but at the same time now, at a very, like at a base level, it also, informs you about like what's actually going on there. So, kudos to you, my brother. Kudos to you on
Exactly.
that.
That was the whole point of the project, was to create sort of this, sort of informing everyone. That was sort of the whole basis of this project, and then it's sort of expanded from there, which is quite cool.
So at this point over here, I have taken off my cap and I'm putting it out over here to the masses here at Comic Con Africa, so they can throw out a little something to you over there. Talk to my people out there. Tell them, where do they find you? What do you need? And what does the future hold for Nexus Blitz?
I'm in college. I'm in college. I'm in third year. Next year I'm doing my honors. So it's still taking one step at a time. So to be completely honest, I don't have an overall goal as of yet. So yeah, it's kind of just one step at a time at the moment. I haven't really thought of this big picture yet. I didn't even realize this was even going to be a thing. It took me quite by surprise, actually. So yeah, literally, one step at a time. So yeah, third year I'm done, and then next year is honors, and then I'm going to be hopping into the real world either next year, as part-time, and then the following time after that. In terms of that, my games, they pretty much so far post my games on itch.io/Nexus X Blitz as well. You can find me also on Twitter. I post a few little things whenever I'm working on projects, some cool prototypes and stuff like that. So I sort of just posted out how I did it. On my YouTube channel, I generally post, like when I make games, I do a whole time lapse from, literally writing everything down on my board all the way to the finished product. I normally do that with Game Jams, so you guys can catch me there as well. And that's pretty much most of the places that I actually post by.
You, my brother, I love your concept. I wish you everything of the best. You're a star, and keep doing your thing, my man. Keep doing your thing.
Also, thank you. I really appreciate it.
What's up, you guys? So it is Comic Con Africa weekend. There's so much going on, having a rollicking time, and I trust you are as well. Now, I am having a really, really, really difficult time processing all the awesomeness that are our entrants for the Project Springbok initiative. And I'm chatting to another one of my friends right now. Brother, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Glad to hear. Okay, so real quick, right? Just introduce yourself to our friends out there. Tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you've been working on.
Okay. My name is Ifan Shibata. I'm the project head or the team head of a game developing team called Smart Audio Games. We're located over in Nigeria, Warri Delta State, Nigeria. We're one of the very few, less than 10 game studios over here. We're currently working on a project an action RPG game titled Zack 2 Celestine Map. It's a 3D game which features a lot of boss. We concentrate a lot of the boss fights of the game, and also the game has a storyline which the dialogues and interaction with the environment, which the player does to determine how the story of the game will end.
Whoa. Okay, now that sounds intense. It sounds awesome. It sounds epic. So I think maybe just to give the guys out there a little bit of context about what we are talking about over here, let's cut away to that video footage we had so they can see some samples of the game, and then we can take it from there. How about that? Whew, okay, my man, right. Now, having seen all of that, right, I have a couple questions that I've got to things that I got to get to grips with, right? Because, I know we have talent here in Africa, and it just stuns me how much of talent there is, yourself included. So I'm going to ask you, right, how did you come up with the concept for your project?
Well, I think the concepts came up in different steps. First of all, I wanted to make a medieval game. One of the favorite things I loved about medieval games, because I've played a bunch of them in the past, Dark Souls, different parts of them. Well, I love the way those fights within them.
Yeah.
And special things I love about these games is when the different villains have different attributes. So when we're creating that time map, one of the main features is that the bosses all have different attributes, different abilities. It's created in such a way that it keeps the player off their feet as they are playing the game. The game is not too it's not too easy. So later on, I decided also that the game should have a story in such a way so that people could connect with the main character. So we created the scripts, dialogues, and then wanted it so that different, we don't want a scenario where one player has the same experience at the end as another player. We want a scenario where maybe a bunch of friends could play the game and everybody had a different ending kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And we have the game. We are currently going to release the game next year completely, March next year. The game is still in development, but we're in the final phases of its development.
Well, look, from what little we've seen over there, I already feel as though, it's a game by a fan for fans, because, some of the elements now that we've previewed, I must commend you, because some of the stuff that I saw you doing over there, I can see what you built in there. I'm like, that's smart. I see what you did. So that's awesome. But now, that brings me to the next question, man. I mean, when you're thinking about, like I said, our motherland, when you think about Africa, I mean, this is Comic-Con Africa, and we're partnering up with our friends from Project Springbok. And the whole idea is to actually create a platform and sort of a space where aspirant developers such as yourself can actually showcase their talent. So from your experience, I mean, what sort of challenges do we experience here as Africans, in terms of breaking into this game market, this development market? What have you experienced?
I could speak a lot for Nigeria. I don't know a lot about other African countries, but what they're going on about.
Yes.
In Nigeria, we are just one of the maybe 5-6 studios that are currently active in Nigeria. One of the major problems, is that the gaming community over here is less than 0.1% of the entire population. And I believe the thing is, they all made games with the intention of selling to Nigerians. Here in Nigeria, there are just about 6 studios currently active making video games. A lot of them actually are making for the Android platform, but we are choosing to focus on the PC and console platform. And that's the problem. When they spent money, I've seen some of the games they made. They tried, they lost. A huge team of people came together and they really drew the graphics well and stuff. But they put all their effort and money into marketing in Nigeria, whereas they didn't have people to buy it. So it was a wasted effort. And at the end of the day, maybe after making 1 or 2 of them, the whole thing crashed because they didn't see hope of going further anymore. I believe one of the major problems over here also is funding, which a lot of people complain about. We need money to fund the games. The thing is, we tried contacting a lot of publishers over here before we started the game initially. But most of them were saying we should get a publisher in our region, which is in Africa. Whereas we don't know, we can't find anyone in Africa over here, which is a problem. In fact, we do intend on that if our game succeeds next year, we are going to start our own publishing label for Africans over here to help them so that they can want to help them make their games get to the international market. I believe if we have enough time to concentrate on the game, we can use our own expertise and the different things we have learned while publishing our own game to help them in making their game reach the overseas continent.
I think the major problem now is access. You know, like getting in over there, and then like obviously the resources, and you know just the fact that there aren't enough people who are in the space over there. But hopefully with things like this, you know, it'll start to get the guys on track and more on par. Okay, but now let's ask the last question and the most important question. Where can the fans out there follow you? Where can they support you? How can they support you? Tell us more about like what the fans out here from Comic-Con Africa can do to help you with your project, and also just the industry here in Africa as a whole. What are your thoughts?
We have a company account on Twitter, on Facebook. We would like fans that love our game to go and follow us there. Secondly, we have a Steam page for the game, which is already up for almost a year now. We would like people who are interested in the game that also use Steam to go and help us reach the game, so they'll be indicated when the game comes out. We also might be doing a certain discount for people from Africa on the release day. Yeah, so people from Africa will be getting the game at a cheaper price. Yeah, and we might be launching a Kickstarter to finance the final part of the game before the end of this month. So if we do, we'll be announcing it on our Twitter, on our Facebook, and probably on the Steam announcement page as well.
Woo, okay. So lots and lots of stuff happening over there. Guys, you've heard what you need to do. Let's bring the thunder. Let's do the thing. Let's help these brothers out. You know, I'm going to tell you that Nigeria is high on my list of places to come and check out. And now I got some family out there. So hopefully, like me and the rest of my friends from Comic-Con Africa, we can come on out there and check all our other brothers in Nigeria. And all the fans out there, once again, it is Comic-Con Africa weekend. This has been another segment in the Project Springbok initiative, once again supporting young and aspiring developers all across the continent. And you know how you can support these guys over here. Again, watch out for that thing coming out at the end of the month, and more details will be on the socials. Right now, though, if you haven't already, I invite you once again to download the Comic-Con Africa app and check out all the amazing things. Add it to your schedule, because the show keeps going on here online. Thank you so much, my man. I will speak to you soon.